You are 14 years old, no military victories, no political experience, no reason to rule the largest empire on earth. Yet today, Rome belongs to you. From Britain to Syria, armies march in your name, and millions now depend on your decisions. Within 4 years, you will offend nearly every powerful person in Rome. You will scandalize the public, bankrupt the palace, humiliate senators, and become so hated that your own guards decide the empire would be safer without you. This is your life as Elagabalus. Rome looks glorious in marble and statues, but underneath it is corruption, paranoia, gossip, and murder. And in that world, you are about to become one of its greatest disasters. Elagabalus ruled only 4 years, yet became one of the most infamous emperors in Roman history. Some called him insane, others said he was smeared by enemies. Either way, his reign became legendary chaos. You are born in Emesa, Roman Syria, far from Rome, a wealthy desert city of temples, markets, and Eastern luxury. Few here imagine that one day a boy from this place will rule the empire. Your family is tied to the Severan dynasty. More importantly, your grandmother Julia Mesa is rich, brilliant, ruthless, and politically dangerous. She understands power better than many Roman generals. You are raised as priest of the god Elagabalus, a local sun deity. You wear jeweled robes, perform sacred rituals, and live surrounded by ceremony. You are being trained for religion, not empire. Then Emperor Caracalla is assassinated. A new ruler, Macrinus, seizes the throne, but he lacks noble blood and many soldiers do not trust him. Rome smells weakness. Your grandmother sees opportunity. She spreads a rumor that you are the secret son of Caracalla. It may be false, but soldiers want to believe it, and belief is stronger than evidence. Eastern legions revolt in your name. Banners rise, horns sound, armies march. Macrinus is defeated, captured, and killed. At 14 years old, you become Emperor of Rome. The empire tells itself a child emperor can be controlled. Advisors expect to rule through you. Senators expect obedience. Generals expect gratitude. They are all about to be disappointed. You take the imperial name Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, but history remembers you by another name, Elagabalus, the teenage emperor who would turn Rome upside down. Rome expects discipline, military strength, and order. Instead, you arrive in silks, jewels, perfume, and Eastern ceremonial robes. Musicians, dancers, servants, and luxury surround your entrance. Senators stare in disbelief. This is not how a Roman emperor is supposed to look. Rome respects toughness and restraint. You project glamour, spectacle, and total indifference to tradition. Then you shock the empire. You declare that your Syrian sun god Elagabalus will now be supreme over all Roman gods. Jupiter, king of the Roman pantheon, is pushed aside. A sacred black stone is brought into Rome. You build a grand temple and hold lavish public ceremonies. Priests panic, senators rage. Traditional Romans feel humiliated in their own capital. Now comes the task of governing the empire. Taxes, borders, military logistics, law. Unfortunately, you find all of it boring. Administration cannot compete with pleasure. Banquets become your true priority. The palace transforms into a machine of luxury. Rare foods arrive from across the empire. Wine flows endlessly. Gold and silver fill the halls. Guests never know whether they are being honored or mocked. Some are served fake meals. Others are insulted in public. Noblemen are seated beneath actors and entertainers. Favorites receive jewels, money, and promotions overnight. Meanwhile, treasury officials panic. The army still needs pay, roads still need repair, but the palace spends like tomorrow does not exist. Ancient writers say, your court became a circus of excess. Music, perfumes, dancers, expensive fabrics, private games, endless indulgence. Whether exaggerated or not, Rome begins to believe its emperor is unserious, and in politics, perception matters more than facts. Once people think the center is weak, everyone starts preparing for what comes next. Then comes your private life, something ancient historians could not discuss calmly. They accuse you of scandalous relationships, sexual excess, and behavior they considered shameful. Some claim you wore makeup, wigs, women's clothing, and preferred feminine titles. Some stories may be propaganda, but one thing is clear. You rejected Roman expectations of masculinity. For Rome's conservative elite, this was not just personal behavior, it was political rebellion. Emperors were expected to embody strength, discipline, and tradition. You embodied none of those things. Then comes one of your greatest scandals. You marry a Vestal virgin. These priestesses were sworn to chastity and symbolized Rome's sacred safety. To Romans, this is like setting fire to the Constitution. You reportedly claim the union will produce divine children. The Senate nearly explodes. Every old nobleman in Rome now has high blood pressure. But you continue as if nothing happened. Government becomes unpredictable, officials rise and fall based on your moods, court favorites gain influence overnight. Experienced administrators are pushed aside, jobs are granted strangely, revoked suddenly, restored randomly, confidence in the regime collapses, provincial governors watch carefully, generals whisper in private. Most dangerous of all, the Praetorian Guard begins to lose patience. These are the elite soldiers assigned to protect emperors and famous for removing them. Then comes your most famous legend. At a banquet, flower petals begin falling from the ceiling. At first, beautiful, luxurious, romantic. Then more petals fall. Then more. Then too many. Ancient sources claim some guests suffocated beneath them. Did it happen exactly that way? Maybe not. But the story survives because it perfectly captures your reign. Too much wealth, too much indulgence, too little restraint. Your grandmother Julia Mesa now sees the truth. You are unpopular, unstable, and dangerous to family power. So she creates a backup plan. That plan is your younger cousin, Alexander Severus. Calm, polite, educated, and Roman enough to reassure the elites. You are pressured to adopt him as heir. Soon crowds cheer Alexander. Soldiers admire Alexander. Officials prefer Alexander. You realize too late what has happened. You are no longer the future. You are the obstacle. You try to reverse course, but in Rome, once a safer option exists, your days are numbered. In the year 222, the Praetorian Guard turns on you. You and your mother try to hide inside their camp. Imagine hiding inside the headquarters of the men trying to kill you. They find you quickly. You are 18 years old, still a teenager. They kill you and your mother. Your bodies are dragged through Rome and denied imperial honor. Statues are destroyed. Your memory is officially condemned. Rome wants to erase you completely. But history often remembers those it tries hardest to forget. Were you a monster? A reckless child with too much power? A victim of elite propaganda? Probably some combination of all three? What cannot be denied is this. You made ancient Rome uncomfortable, and few emperors achieved that so completely. Most rulers wanted to be feared, some wanted to be loved, others wanted glory in battle. You became something stranger, a warning, a joke, and a mystery debated for 2,000 years. You ruled only 4 years, yet the world still asks how this happened. Because every empire eventually makes one catastrophic hiring decision. For Rome, that was you.